It's not about the ping pong table in the office. It's not about having a beer keg or a kegerator.
Exactly.
Those things are fun. Those actually can be distractions more than anything, but it's really just about listening to people, making sure they feel validated, just allowing people to fail. Those things are what really bring
treating people with respect.
Yeah.
They're all valuable.
That's what really brings a good culture, honestly.
All right, here we are, everybody.
Yeah, baby.
We are back in the studio with our friend and experienced entrepreneur extraordinaire,
Who's going to teach
Clark.
us? He's going to teach us today.
Ben.
Learn us.
Anybody who knows Ben, and pretty much everybody around here knows Ben.
That's
Have
right.
you ever noticed that?
Oh, yeah, totally.
They all say, "Oh, Ben, he's such a nice guy."
Well, that's why I name
all
drop
say
Ben all
that.
the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I mean,
It's like, I'm
I work
friends
with
with
Ben all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
you know him?
I'm friends with Ben.
You can trust me.
It's like I got one of Ben's shirts on
man.
right now. That's right. But no,
Ben taught me everything I know, so you can sign a deal with me.
but he is
great.
such a great guy. But anyway, we need to open it up. This is another episode of
Big Talk about Small
Business. All right, we're here in the studio with Ben, and Ben is the founder of a company known as Be Unlimited that he's going to tell us all about today. How did you
I'll
get
start
in
off
that?
with, just to correct you.
What's that?
Mark, that I'm not the founder.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. You bought that.
Although, I bought it when
Yeah.
it was a small company, and I, and just kind of grew it from there.
I forgot.
It was like it was a good friend of mine that had it. And it was an opportunity. He had started it, Brian Reindl, and then he got into the real estate deal, and the rest is history for him. Gosh, that guy. You need
Brian's a great guy.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
great.
Brian. We should have Brian on the show.
have him on the
He's
show.
doing the new hotel in downtown
yeah.
Fayetteville.
Oh, really?
And
really good, yeah.
I love Brian. He's such a cool guy.
We've been college. We were college roommates for the short amount of time that I was in college. So, but
Both of
but
you are
just
very
like
successful.
anything, I was actually reading the book, The Meaning of Marriage, not too long ago. Why at this stage of my life I'm reading that book, I don't know, but it's because
There's something inside your brain.
but it said this guy was talking about he's been married 28 times.
Whoa, what?
Oh my God! I thought
You got to have him on the show.
I thought.
There is something seriously wrong.
Well,
with this
that's
guy.
exactly what I was thinking. And then as I kept reading, it
Seriously
says,
wrong.
He says they've changed 28 times. And so he's been with the same
same-
woman, but they
right.
just changed 28 times through their marriage.
Well, it's not just they meaning him as
and
well
her,
as
yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Both of them. And so
Yeah,
when you
that's
say
the
that-
stages.
So a lot of times even when you talk about a founder or even buying a business, this business has been, I've owned several businesses within this one business, honestly. Because it's changed so many times. So in a lot of ways, I am a founder of many businesses within Be Unlimited because, we have just gone up and down so many times. So it's just,
That's a really cool point.
Yeah.
It actually makes me feel better about myself.
Well, I'm on wife number 3. So
Right. I
I
wasn't
have
saying
both
it
the-
should make you feel better.
I always tell my students, I go, you can either think that my relationship advice is worthless, or you could say maybe I've learned something.
Yeah.
It's
I think you have.
the choice is
you've
yours.
learned a lot. God.
But no, that's an interesting way to look at it, Ben. So tell us a little bit about your history. And I'm sorry I forgot that because I did know Brian started it. But tell us more about your history and how you got into
my
business.
history, is, growing up as a kid, I think this is where it really starts, right? When
Yeah.
you're a kid. And so you sit there and you think about, I had dyslexia, I had ADD, had a really hard time in school. Really,
Everybody has ADD, Dan. Ben, that's nothing.
that wasn't diagnosed back then, but trust me, I had ADD. I really did. Not to get the drugs.
I understand. I
for real had it.
all of us have it. Okay. All of us have it. I get it.
Exactly. That one doesn't count anymore, I guess, right? So
Just forget that. The
Right.
dyslexia, that I'm sure
dyslexia
that
was a
pre-
big thing.
presented some
It was
challenges.
pretty severe. Where
Yeah, really.
I literally did not pass a test growing up, and the teachers would just kind of keep moving me on. But I kept it hidden, and I just kind of like really kept it hidden. So my people skills probably grew because of that during that time. And
you were ducking and dodging the circumstance.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it helped you.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's helped me later on in life with just owning a business, honestly. So
have you seen that new dyslexia center that Don Nelms has?
yeah.
Because, he was dyslexic too, and he's been very successful.
I've seen
I know.
Yeah, so if
I
you
know
have
a lot
a
of
kid
people
out there
like
that's
that.
dyslexic, don't
Yeah.
worry about them. They're going to end up supporting you one day.
Yeah, no kidding. They'll be like fantastic. They'll be entrepreneurs, right?
They're gonna have to think outside the box, and that's what you have to do as an entrepreneur. You have to think outside the box. You don't do it kind of the traditional school way,
Right.
And a lot of times that just makes you a good employee,
Yeah.
So it's instead of being an owner or an entrepreneur.
So you struggled in school, though. Obviously, you're an extremely intelligent guy. So you got through high school.
Got through high school.
Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in North Little Rock.
Okay.
Went to Indian Hills Elementary, then Northeast High School, and then my counselor said, "Okay, you really need to go to a trade school." And I said, "Trade school? My brothers are at the University of Arkansas. I've never not thought about anything but just going to the university."
Yeah.
So I came up here to the university, and they quickly saw that we're going to put you in all remedial classes until you pass these to go into the next thing. And honestly, I just did not do well. I mean, they put me on probation and then suspended me, and then I tried to come back in, and I was sitting at the front row, So it was just my learning skills were just not the same way as most people, which I think in a lot of ways probably ended up being to my benefit. But my dad taught me how to work. I mean, I was a paper boy in third grade. I was a dishwasher when I was 12.
Right.
And then, I mean, really, I was cleaning
You worked your
tables.
butt off.
Yeah, I was working my butt off. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cleaning tables at a restaurant until I was 18, and then I came up here to Fayetteville, and I worked at Chick-fil-A for a little while at the mall unit just opened up when Chick-fil-A was only 300 stores in the nation. And then I
Probably learned something from that experience about how to serve.
I did. In fact, all three of my sons I made required them. They'll hire someone at 14. They usually hire like like 3 14-year-olds at any given store. And they have limited time and hours they can work and stuff. But I've made all three of my sons at 14. You're going to work at Chick-fil-A for 2 years.
It's just like boot camp for you.
Just like boot camp. Yeah. They have such a good training program.
I believe it.
Customer service.
Yeah.
They know how to serve. I mean,
They really
it's
do. And it stays with you, and it stays with me still to this day. I still think about it, the way I treat others, and just
It's just a great example of a business that's in a super crowded market.
Yep.
There's a zillion competitors. I don't think their food is any better than any other chicken place, in my opinion, but their service is so good.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how they stand out.
Yeah.
trying.
They move their line faster. They got smile on their face. If they see you struggling with something, they rush out there to help you. I mean, can you imagine that at McDonald's or somewhere where the worker behind the counter is going to come around and say, "Let me help you get that to your table"? I mean,
for sure.
it just would never happen.
Oh, yeah.
For
sure. For sure. So I think that all kind of played into the part.
Great, sure.
And just not having a degree actually forced me into entrepreneurship. I wouldn't call myself like this true entrepreneur or serial entrepreneur or someone like that, just flipping companies out there and doing whatnot. But, I literally had to get into it. I didn't come from money. And so my parents didn't have money to help me kind of get started. I had to kind of really do whatever I could through, through my house. I think I used, the equity in my house to help me buy the business out from Brian. And then he actually.
So tell people what the business was.
It was, Be Unlimited. Is
Right. So tell them what it did.
It's a t-shirt company.
Okay.
At the time, it was just, I would do whatever. And at the time when I bought it, I didn't have any equipment. It was just me and an artist. And that was my only staff that I had. And so it was just in a room about the size of this room we're in right now.
Wow.
So, so that's why I say it's like after taking that business over, and then my artist quit. And so then it was just me. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to print or anything. I literally just kind of spiraled right there and thinking, what in the world? It's like, I've got this business I just paid for.
He's out.
He's out. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just kind of like, I didn't have any other opportunities, you know, so I just kind of took it, you know.
Yeah.
So finally found another artist and thought, man, I'll never hire just one artist anymore. I've got to hire two artists just in case one of them quits on me, you know. So so I've got two artists, and somehow or another I really came across a really extraordinary artist. I mean, he was an illustrator, and he just he was working in a coffee shop in at the hospital at Washington Regional, just at a kiosk. And I saw his art one day at an art show, and I talked to him. He said, "Oh yeah, he's kind of done some screen printing, and he knew about it, and he had worked for another guy years earlier." And I said, "Would you come work for me while I'm looking for an artist?" I thought, you know, just
like a stopgap temp measure.
Yeah, because you didn't know how to draw.
I didn't know how to draw. Right, I didn't know how to draw. Right, I was asking. Literally, if I saw and this did happen. I was at the bank teller and I saw this bank teller like doodling, and I thought, "Do you know how to draw? Can you do something for me real quick? I really need your help. I really need your help." So I mean, that's how it started. I mean,
So did you print then? I mean, you had the printing equipment?
I actually outsourced all the printing.
Oh, so you outsourced it? Okay.
Outsourced it. So I would have someone. I would have a distributor of T-shirts drop ship to someone that's like a contract printing company.
Yeah.
And then they would print it for me, and that went on for like 10 years. I would try to buy a piece of equipment, but they would just deny me because I didn't have my credit it sucked. I mean, like just, you know, you're pouring everything into your business and trying to just make it. I mean, at the time I was doing logos and maps, and just, you asked me to do anything, I'd be like, yeah, we can do it, you know? And then I'd go back and try to figure out, how do I do this, you know?
Now, what year was this, Ben?
Gosh, this wasn't even that long ago. It doesn't feel like I'm a late bloomer. This was back in 2006.
Okay.
So I think
Is when you bought it from Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, 2006.
So then it took off from there.
So then it took off from there. So
Okay.
it just kind of actually, it didn't really take off from there. Then we kind of experienced the housing market in 2007, 8, 9, right around there.
I was buying shirts from you then for my construction company.
You were the only one.
You don't know this, but you were the
only one. Not shirts for me. Thank you. Right. Because I was hanging on by a thread. And the funny thing is, as a business owner back then, you're just like, you're literally, your head's down, you're in your room, you're not talking to other business people. I wasn't watching the news. I didn't know that the economy was crashing right now. I thought it was just me. I really did. I thought, wow, it's like, here comes another failure.
I'm failing again.
It's going down fast. You know, it's like, yeah, oh yeah. I really did. I thought it was just like, it's going down fast, you know.
But there's something to that, though. Like we've talked about this a lot. Like I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in 20 plus years.
Me either. I don't watch it, brother.
No point, man. Like all it does is
It's on in my house 24 hours a day. So
I know you do. I can tell you about your intensity on a daily basis. But I mean, all it does is push fear into me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
All right, exactly.
In most of the circumstances, and if it's something real serious, Mark will tell me. But I mean, there's something about like the fact that you thought it was you, and so what you did was you looked at every nook and cranny of how you could do better, and what you should and shouldn't do, and you just focused on yourself and your business, and you ducked and dodged.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's like ignorance in a way is a plus because you don't know all the reasons why you shouldn't be succeeding.
Oh right.
You know what I mean? You just
by
you just
yourself.
do. You do what you have to do.
We had other businesses out there struggling too, and so they were underbidding me. I mean, they were coming in with these low prices, you know, and it's like, and then I would start.
I should have been buying my shirts from somebody else.
Down. I dropped my prices down during that time, and I'm literally, I mean, it cost me more to make the shirt than I was, and I didn't even know how to really do that, understand even my pricing.
Come on, Ben, I mean, this business is a large business today, okay?
Yeah.
So obviously you did something right, all right?
I mean, I pushed through. I persevered.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had I had a lot of grit. I stayed up late at night.
Okay.
And I worked through it. And so it was just one of the printing companies that I was using at the time that I was farming a lot of printing out to, they weren't paying their taxes, and so they were struggling, and so they were going to get shut down or something. And so I got to a point where I was able to buy their equipment from them.
I see.
And then bring them on as employees. And so that actually worked in my favor at the time.
Like a little acquisition, basically.
Yeah.
What year was that you did
Vertical integration.
that was probably about 2000 and golly, what year was that?
Is that when you were in the Quonset hut over there? Is that?
Yeah. That's when I was over there. So it was probably around. It was the late to like 2018.
Okay.
Something like that.
So you had gone 10 years, then you bought this.
Yeah.
You kind of acquired
2016, maybe it's 2000. You're right. So it's 2006 when I bought it. So it's probably like it was probably about 2012. I think it's 2012.
Okay.
So.
And so
Don't fact check me on any of this stuff.
Are you not prepared for this podcast?
No, like I told you earlier, I don't prepare for anything.
Just to get
I literally told you. I told people before, I said, listen, if you listen to different podcasts that I've been on, you'll think that it's totally different companies. They sound so different.
Well, had we gotten prepared for this, we would have let you know the questions we might ask. So this is
the way it's done.
This is how it happens.
Like real business.
It's the best way. It's the best way.
So seriously though, Ben. So today, give us an idea, just so people listening have a perspective. How big is the company now?
I mean, altogether, we do close to 20 million.
Okay.
Wow. So, I mean, it's like
So, and how many employees do you have?
We have we don't have as many employees as we used to, because we've been able to downsize because of a lot of
more efficiency.
More efficiency and just automation project.
Yeah.
So it's I'm thinking I have around 100 and something employees.
Wow.
Something like that.
So it sounds like, he makes it sound like he's just got some T-shirts coming out of his garage or something.
I mean,
instead,
As an operation goes.
as of today, I've been living down in Florida and here half the year.
Yeah.
And as of today, I mean, I've got a business partner now that we merged 5 years ago.
Okay.
His name is Nathan Lott. And also, as of today, we have Laura Poe, who's the president of B Unlimited. She's been there for 15 plus years, and she's running B Unlimited. I mean, she really runs the day-to-day inside. She makes all the important decisions, and she's done an incredible job. So
what do you do?
that's a good question. That's what everybody else has to. I hope they're not listening to this podcast.
It's like they run when they see him coming.
That's right.
No, when they see me coming, they probably don't even know who I am.
I think you're somebody just picking up some T-shirts.
Exactly, yeah.
So, well, you've obviously been good at picking people, and you've been able to keep good people because you're a decent human and you treat people with respect.
I try.
And that makes a huge difference.
So, I mean, one of my things was just, I learned early on that it's just better just to hire nice people and train them, and just people you want to be around, and people
100%.
like friends.
100%.
So it just makes work so much more enjoyable.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reality is like any company is just the people that are building that company.
Yeah.
And you're working around. And I mean, like when you spend most of your time in there, you got to be able to get along. I mean, and when you get done with life, like that's who you spent most of your life with. Is better be good people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
that
sure.
you enjoyed being around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The thing is, sometimes when you talk with business people about this, let's not say business owners necessarily, but let's say the managers below them, they'll say, "Oh, you just want people who are yes people." If you say you want to work with people you like and you don't want to sit there and argue all day, I think that's ridiculous.
Yes, I do.
Personally,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
that's what you'll be accused of if you say that by some of the quote professional managers. Okay. No, we don't want to have everybody pulling in different directions and arguing all the time about stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's too toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It can be really toxic, and it just can make it where you don't want to go to your own.
Yeah.
Office,
And if you're demotivated, it's a big problem. I mean, let's face
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's the owner of the business.
For sure. So, I kind of look at Be Unlimited like, honestly, I didn't go into Be Unlimited to build a big company or even a mid-sized company. I was just doing it to survive, to get my kids, to have groceries on the table, make my house payment and stuff like that. But as you hire people, then you have to start caring for others. And as these young people that I was hiring kind of straight out of college, then they start getting married and then have babies, and then, they need to buy a house, and it's like it just kind of grew. It's like we have to do more. We have to make more,
So we can provide for
these other people too.
Yes.
So it's not about just me.
Yeah, that's such a good point, isn't
100%, 100%.
I can relate to that entirely.
Yeah. So anyway, I was thinking about something yesterday. I think that's pretty funny, or just this is out of the blue, but I was kind of equating kind of my life and kind of the way that I do things is. It's kind of like me back as a kid riding my bike in the woods. If you can just think about this for a second. And you're riding in the woods and you stop, you decide you might see another kid with his bike, you wave, you meet each other, you say, hey, do you want to build a fort?
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, let's build one. And you start putting branches together and you start kind of building it. And the next day you meet him back out there and you do it again. And there's another kid that joins.
Yeah.
And then the next day, someone brings some, rope, or someone brings a hammer
Or some cigarettes.
Or cigarettes. Yeah,
I was thinking marshmallows.
I know. Marshmallows. Are you kidding me? Don't be rated G.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on, finish that. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's really
it was
funny.
set up.
it was just
true.
fun. And then you're
Yeah.
building this. You're building this fort, and then all of a sudden you've bonded with these other kids that then you see them in Walmart, or you see them at Kroger's or something, or at school, and you're fist bumping, and you're just kind of like, all of a sudden you've just kind of formed a club. You don't realize what you've done.
It wasn't even deliberate. It just kind of happened.
Deliberate,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't planned.
It wasn't planned, and that's how Be Unlimited has been. I didn't have a vision statement. I didn't have a performer or just any of that stuff early on. I mean, so it's just we did have kind of an ethos that we had on the wall, and I didn't realize it, but it was be yourself, be unique, be unlimited, and it's just words that were up there.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. It's meaningful.
I met another company that we buy our inks from. We do water-based printing, and they're over in the UK. And so I flew over to London with some of my guys, and we went up to their office, and it just felt like Be Unlimited. I thought, what is? And then they said, oh, it sounds like we have the same ethos. And I was like, what's ethos? And I'm looking on my phone to see what ethos is. And I thought, oh, wow, we do. My ethos is written on the wall. So I do have something written. I don't have a mission statement or a vision statement or anything, but I do have an ethos that's on the wall. And we kind of do live by that, because everybody just respects one another. It doesn't matter where you fall politically or any of that stuff. I mean, when you come through the doors, that's just gone. We just kind of got a safe fort, that we've built.
Yeah.
And that everybody's kind of helped.
I love that.
Build it along the
So
way.
critical today, I think, as divided as people are,
Oh, definitely.
to create that, safe space where we're just not going to get into that stuff here.
Well, I won't get into it at B. I mean, I just sit there. I know some people want to draw a line for their businesses and all that. And I'm
It's
like,
so dumb.
We've got so many different people, and they come from so many different
Why do you want-
backgrounds.
And this
It's
isn't
like,
the objective of the
yeah,
business.
why
Exactly.
alienate
Let's
one person, just
Rule out half our customers.
Yeah.
Rule out half of our employee pool. Is that smart?
Because you have a stance.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm principled. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
totally disagree with that.
Man, but on that, like when you're talking about that fort building and that organic circumstance, right? It makes me think, that's the way I felt my first company as well. Yeah. It was just, I didn't necessarily know where I was going. I just could see took the opportunities as they came.
Yeah.
Team built and all that, just like you were talking about. And it was very genuine. On the second round, with the new companies that I got going on, I can see the value in that, and I know where we can be. But there's something weird. It's kind of like, back to your analogy, if I had that experience to build that fort, and then I go out back into the woods, and now I'm intentional to want that fort again, it's almost like you're trying to expedite that process, but you can't expedite the process.
Right, you can't expedite it, right?
But
exactly.
But I think the thing is like leaning on that experience a little bit, it makes me think about all the professional business modeling VC scenario, this whole trend of how companies should be ran, the money that they should raise, all these details, right? But the raw reality of it is a good company is built by that fort.
Yeah,
It's about the fort.
It's about the people. You get that. If you got capital and just had someone build that fort for you, then you don't have the culture.
Exactly.
And you don't have that camaraderie.
That's like yes, I agree. My theory is that being overcapitalized is a tremendous disadvantage because then you don't build the discipline in of every aspect of your business to actually make it survive.
Well, you don't have the creativity.
Yeah. I mean, you don't. You don't have
the creativity's gone.
You don't have to respond to the market as quickly because you got money.
Oh yeah, because you got money. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
no big deal until that money runs out. Then then you just have a big debt, and then you're in a worse place, right?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
It's better to kind of build it slow.
The only thing I disagree with you guys on, I'm just going to throw one counterpoint out. Sorry.
I do want to know that there is something I disagree with you on because
there's not much. I know.
I want to hear what it is, though.
No, I'm saying when I started the company that's Y Group today, I had a business plan 2 years before I ever started it. And we basically followed that plan, and it's still valid today. That was written in 1986. We started in 88. So we really did have a conscious plan and a conscious effort to grow the company, okay? That said, you obviously don't know every direction you're going to go and everything you're going to pick up along the way and how it evolves. And I totally agree with you on the idea that the growth in large part was propelled by the desire to create opportunities for your people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Right. It's true.
And just like you, I started it. I had no money. I had a 6-month-old baby crying in the background.
Yeah.
No, actually, she was soon to be a year old. What am I saying? and had to make a living. So that's what propels you to start with. It's like, holy cow, I've got to
Oh yeah, for sure.
I got to win.
Yeah, I got to eat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there, I do think you can have. I don't necessarily think all planning is bad.
No, planning is good. We do plan. We plan now. I mean, we have planning meetings. We have quarterly meetings, yearly meetings, and retreats that we look back at last year and we plan for the future and stuff like that now. So I mean, it is my thought process is. But just getting into it for me was there wasn't a plan. That was just the only plan. I didn't have a plan B or plan.
I understand that.
I decided to do it.
The ships there's no ships left on the shore. They got burned.
That's right.
Now we're going. Yeah, and I do agree that I think the culture that you create is so critical to your success because you can't have a rule for everything.
Right.
You can't have a policy for everything. You can't anticipate everything. But if everybody's rowing the boat the same way,
that's the main thing, that everybody's rowing the boat the same way.
Yeah.
It's not about the ping pong table in the office. It's not about having a beer keg or kegerator.
Exactly.
Those things are fun. Those actually can be distractions more than anything. But it's really just about listening to people, making sure they feel validated. Allowing people to fail. Those things are what really bring.
Treating people with respect.
Yeah.
They're all valuable.
That's what really brings a good culture, honestly. I mean, it doesn't have to be just the coolest office space, It just doesn't. And so I've kind of learned my lesson through a lot of that. I mean, because we would get done working and we were all so close, we didn't want to leave each other,
Yeah,
so
that's fantastic.
We'd walk down to the bar and have some few drinks and just continue on the conversation. But really, I've learned that now. I've kind of learned hey, there's a place to stop, allow people to go home, have their families, enjoy their families, and help nurture that too as well. So
because if that's bad,
there's a balance you have to have with culture. Because if it's too good, then it's like no one ever wants to leave.
Yeah. Then their relationships and families fall apart. And then they bring all that back to the office. And it's disaster, right?
So you got to so there's a balance there. I mean, it really is. It's a balancing.
So in any case, you have made this business very successful. You've been good at picking people. You're obviously not a control freak, okay, which has allowed it to grow because you're not having to approve every nickel spent and make every single decision. What else do you think has been the keys to your success in this crowded, mature market that you're in? I mean, how do you guys sell $20 million worth of shirts? What's your focus?
I mean, now our focus is on, what we call ourselves is a custom licensed apparel company because we really focus on universities. We found a niche, whatever, however you want to say it. And it's universities. And so from the University of Arkansas, we just kind of replicated that to another university, to another university, to another university. Instead of trying to do everything for all people, we just
gave you a focus.
We found that, and then we just learned how to scale.
How you got really good at that.
Y'all know Steve Graves, I know, but he's the one that used that word scale to me one day, and I was like, scale, what's that mean? Let me look it up, I mean, seriously, I had no knowledge. Even the word is scale. It's like, that's an easy one. What are you talking about, scale? Is that a scale that you on or what? But it's like, I was thinking, okay, that makes sense, So I just thought, so kind of what I did is just fired pretty much all the customers that really was just causing us just to pedal with not getting and not go anywhere.
Like Mark Swag, like a construction company.
Like, forget our little crappy order of 50 shirts or whatever, right?
Like we're done with the bright orange.
We don't need that. No, we never had bright orange.
I know, y'all wore black. You had a tight brand with your Mark Swag.
I know, we followed your lead. You loved that black.
I did love that.
I mean, you were stuck in the 90s ultimately. You love it. He loves black.
Love black.
August loves it.
Yeah,
I wore it for you today.
I know you did. That was the one thing I prepared. Hey, wear black.
Wear black.
So that was a great focus for you. Now, obviously, here you're located in Fayetteville, which is where the U of A is, and so you had that connection. We all know each other if we're not related, as we talked about earlier. In this state, everybody knows each other.
Well, we're related.
We're related to you. We're physically related. But I always said you got to be 14 to get married here unless you're related.
I want to be related to both of y'all so we can get that money.
So you got the wrong guy here.
Right now. You got the wrong guy here too. There's no money to be found
now all of a
here.
sudden no one's successful.
But anyway, I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. No, how did you build that same relationship with these other colleges and universities?
I mean, it was really just the same way we did here. I mean, I'd have to drive there, talk with the licensing director, just build those relationships.
But didn't they say, well, you're not from around here, boy, are you? Like when you went to Mississippi State or whatever, right?
That's exactly
You're not from around here, boy.
You're not from around here.
Yeah.
We've got our local screen printer down the road. Like that. So it's like,
so how do you counter that?
So we countered it by just showing them what we did, what we offered different from those people. And so to allow their students to be able to have an option. And so that so we had some differentiators that pulled us apart. One of those was water-based screen printing.
Which is more environmentally sound and also holds up better, right? In the wash and all.
Yeah, I think so. And it just looks good. It's soft. It just feels good. It's not like a big piece of plastic on you.
Oh, yeah.
You're sweating and it just feels...
Hate that.
Yeah. And then also we were one of the first people to use Comfort Colors. And they were a small company also up out of New York City. And
what's that, Comfort
Colors is a brand that just all the sorority girls wanted at the time. You could go down to 30A to Seaside.
Right.
And that's the shirt that they used. And
so they make the shirt.
They weren't being distributed in our normal distribution houses.
So this is the actual T-shirt.
This is the actual T-shirt.
Okay. And so the quality of the fabric is
the quality of the fabric, and it was super soft. It was ring spun cotton. Still had that kind of little bit of heavy weight to it, but it was just super soft, and it just held up really well. And so we started using that, and between using that shirt and then quality designs, I mean, just always having, we've prided ourselves on being more of an art house. I think me not having equipment for the first 10 years really made us into an art house first. And so we have 20 designers. They're all illustrators that work at the 20 illustrators that work every day in the building down here in South Fayetteville,
just cranking out
designs, and they have such the coolest kind of culture in their office. I mean,
those people love what they do.
Oh, they do. They enjoy it, and they enjoy working around each other, and they feed off each other.
Yeah, it's innovating. It's fun.
Isn't that amazing though? 20 designers.
That's awesome.
So do you just pick the best of what they come out with? How do you do that? Because they're all
they're all just pulling jobs off a job board. So I mean, we've got probably 100 jobs a day that are coming through, and that they're just working on.
They just look at the brief and then they just start.
Yeah,
grading.
we've got an art director that's that
Yeah.
hands out.
I see.
They know how different people, their different looks that they have, and they go, "Oh, you'd be great on this job right here. We want you to do this one and this one and this one." And
That is so cool.
So she'll assign jobs to the different artists and whatnot, and then sometimes the artists will like, "Hey, I really want to do this job,"
Yeah.
and so
That's
That's fun.
That is really cool. So I want to change gears for a minute now.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you're doing in Uganda.
Oh, okay. So, kind of guys my age, and really hopefully any age, but it's just that you want to kind of move from success to more significance, and kind of doing stuff that's more purpose driven.
Right.
3 years ago, I went to Uganda with my church that I go to down in Florida. And me and my wife have been supporting 3 girls over there. And I wanted to go meet them. I wanted to go see if this was real. I've never been to Africa. I wanted to see if it was just kind of, am I just giving money or what, so.
Yeah.
And I got to have lunch with these 3 girls, and it was really amazing to see the difference that $50 a month for each of them just made, in their lives. It gave them a school to go to, and it gave them a meal at their school. And just to see them succeed in that way over the last few years that we'd been doing that. And so, but through that, I also noticed that our church went over there for an orphanage and baby care and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. They said, well, what have you been doing all your life? I said, well, all I've done is grow a business. They said, oh, well, let's put you with some business guys. And why don't you talk to them? And I really thought it was going to be like 10 guys. And it ended up being 100 men that showed up. And they were just so enthusiastic about learning just anything they could about business. And Uganda is a very young country. It's 78% of Ugandans are under the age of 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of the genocide and AIDS and all this other stuff that's happened in Uganda, it really kind of the older generation just kind of gave up. And so they don't have a lot of good mentors.
Right.
But now that there's the internet that's opened up all over Africa, now they feel like these young kids are just so creative, and they're kind of like the kid that I was talking about that's riding the bike down, in the woods, and they're starting to build stuff.
Making their forts now.
They've got their forts, and they're building stuff, and it's really unique and incredible innovations that they're doing over there. And so,
with no resources at all.
With no resources.
Yeah.
No money.
Right. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And so, and they really enjoyed, they could resonate with my story with being limited. It's kind of very similar to the way they have to do things over there too as well. And so that 1 hour meeting lasted all morning. And then it just spurred me to create a nonprofit called Bold Creators. I thought, wow, I need to go back. And they wanted me to come back, and I wanted to bring more entrepreneurs over there to help kind of walk alongside them and walk alongside these other entrepreneurs and just kind of help guide them. And if they chose to invest in their company or something like that. So now last year I brought 14 guys over there, and we had 35 Ugandans, and we kind of went through a program. We used Work Matters material for 10 weeks prior, just to kind of get to know them, to have a base. It's a faith-based kind of organization that's but just really targeted on helping them grow their businesses, how to hire people, how to employ, to create jobs, and just so that's.
But you're not giving them money at this point.
I'm not giving them money. No.
Yeah, there's no money.
There's no money involved in this.
Yeah.
It's all just other than just it's expensive to get there. It costs probably about $2,500 for.
Sure, you guys are giving your valuable time and
stuff like that. But it's not.
Yeah.
There's no money involved in this as far as like trying to. Yeah.
Have you seen like those micro lending programs like I think it's Kiva? Is that it? Because I give some money to them.
Yeah. Now I could see this thing growing where there might be an arm where there might be some micro lending happening. Because even $500 or $1,000
makes a huge difference.
Buys a new sewing machine or does something.
Right, or buys them seeds or whatever.
That gets them a cow that milks and makes a huch difference.
Yeah.
And so I can see that being.
Like an outgrowth of this thing.
It feels like being limited in the early stage of this nonprofit actually right now, because it's real messy, and and we're trying to figure ourselves out. I didn't write out a plan.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of just doing it. And it was last year went off really well. The guys that went with me believed in me and believed in, the cause.
The mission. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now I've got another great group of guys going. Actually, Donnie Smith, one of the past CEOs of Tyson's going to come in and speak at one of the sessions that we're doing. And so it's we've got a good group of guys going that they're all like just successful entrepreneurs in their own right, and they just want to be able to give back. So it's cool. It's really cool to do this. So I'll just do it as long as I can, or as long as I.
How many times have you been over there?
Well, this will be my third time.
Okay.
It's going in July again. So
is it? You feel like it's safe over there for you as Americans?
Safe. It's very safe. You know what? But you Google it, and it says that about the terrorists and all this stuff, and about heads going off in churches and all this stuff. But I'm like, I know people over there now. I talk to them all the time. It's like, and it's just a different narrative over there than it is what we hear over here. So it's crazy what you hear on the news. It makes you fear, and you just wow. You're asking me to go to Uganda? I mean, just in the jungle, and we're staying at nice hotels and have nice facilities.
Ready to level up your show? At podcastvideos.com, we offer industry-leading recording and expert marketing to help your show reach more listeners. From creation to distribution, we've got you covered. Visit podcastvideos.com and elevate your podcast today.
I don't want to take us too far off course, but I'm on the board of this company called Miyamoto International. Worked with Kip Miyamoto since he started out, basically. But we have offices all over the globe. And Kit has done such a good job because he goes over to these foreign countries and immediately establishes a rapport with the people because he doesn't try to impose American customs, practices, values. He eats their food. He works on their schedule. He acts like them. He dresses like them. I mean, you take all the sort of barriers away, and then and he's very well accepted. Doesn't matter what country he goes into. He did study anthropology before he became an engineer. Interestingly enough, so have you found that to be the case yourselves?
I found the case is that we have more similarities than we do differences, honestly. And even though when you go deep into Africa and you go out and you see the different villages and stuff, it's just really just kind of really just poor areas, where people but it's they have the same struggles and the same people that are starting businesses anyway that I'm reporting to and working with. They deal with loneliness and insecurities and all that stuff that we're dealing with.
Everybody thinks you're crazy.
Yeah, everybody thinks
go get a job.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. They deal with all the same things that we deal with over here trying to start a business, and so it's real interesting as you kind of get to know them and they go, "Oh wow, so you felt this way too?" And so it's just, it's a beautiful thing. I'm really loving it, honestly. So
what's it do for you though? Like you talk about going from success to significance, right? Yeah. Where is that landing with you after this experience?
I think it makes me want to do it more. Just give back more. It's not like you can only have so much stuff. You just kind of start piling. You wrote something on this the other day,
I did.
On something. I commented on it. I was thinking, I'm just done with stuff.
It's like we have everything we need, right? And then some.
When you go over there and see how little they live on, and I'm just like, they think we're blessed because we have all this stuff. I'm thinking, y'all are blessed. You do not know how blessed you are that you know how to live on so little and how joyful and how happy you are.
That's right.
And it's
what you said.
To see that joy.
Yeah.
And just the laughter. You can't laugh if you're sad. You can't sing if you're sad. And these people laugh, they sing. They're just like, it's the most joyful people on earth.
Funny you say that. Like my wife, Tara, she's a nurse practitioner, and she's been doing these medical mission trips to like Guatemala, Ecuador. I think she might have gone to Uganda, but she says the same thing. She's like, they go to very impoverished areas where they don't have medical facilities. They set up these little pop-up clinics, but she's like,
so gratifying.
Everybody there is just so incredibly joyful.
Yeah.
And happy and grateful.
I mean, that's what it's done for me. Honestly, it's really kind of brought me back to kind of like, hey, I don't, just that joy and where it come from. So it's just.
That's great, man.
Yeah, you don't get it from your house and your gated community and your expensive European cars. You know what I mean? It just doesn't do anything for you at some point.
No,
Not at all.
Yeah.
It comes down to people. It comes down to culture.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, what you really have done is you've kind of gone back into you've discovered a culture again.
Oh, yeah.
A raw culture.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
That brings you joy.
Well,
we're all wanting to be part of the team, right? I mean, we're all wanting to be on a good team, good group of people, do something significant, purposeful. That's what all this discussion's about.
Yeah, and the problem is in our culture today, everybody's so alienated, and we're all just tethered electronically, but not actually physically. Like everybody's remote working, and they're getting all their news and connection through social media, and it's all bullshit. I'm sorry.
I agree. No, I'm 100%.
But it is. It's like you got to get together with people. It breeds dissatisfaction. It breeds vilification of other people. It does all these things.
Oh, yeah.
That if you were just together more,
right.
Exactly. It used to be one of my tactics. If two people don't get along in the office and they're both good people, make them sit next to each other. Put them in the same room.
Yeah.
And you know what? The odds are that their relationship's going to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they get to know each other, actually.
Yeah.
So I said
we missed that.
I said this at a couple of days ago at an event, but it's funny. There's two things here at play. Like it comes down to work and labor, right? We're designed to work.
You always say that, and it's true, though.
It's so true. Like I'm
quoted you on that.
Like at my Cave Springs property. I sit out there, and the river's there, and I'm watching this goose, right? This two geese, right? Mom and dad. Mom's nesting, laying eggs, right? And so, but he stays really close. But they're fighting for their survival every day. If they decide to chill and isolate and like I'm gonna do, no, man, you're dead. Like everything. If you don't work,
some coyote's gonna come along and bite their heads off.
Dude, the water's gonna rise, and their eggs float away. And like you got to be aware. You got to be intentionally working. And for some reason, in our American culture, we have decided that you don't have to really work. Like the whole goal for a lot of folks is to work as little as possible and enjoy life, hippie out a little bit. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think that we talk about this culture, you can talk about that. I love the fort building analogy.
I do too. I love that. We're going to use that.
Yeah, because here's what they did.
Forts.
They built a fort, but what were they doing? They were working.
Yeah.
They were building something together. It wasn't hey, I'm Eric and I have these
how to cooperate.
Yeah, man. Like you're in the middle of work. That's where the relationship is built.
Yeah.
And so if you isolate and get remote, then you don't have as much of that. Like you basically have reduced the impact by at least 50% if you're not in person.
Yep.
And you don't work together.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, we're here to create. We're just here to create.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're just like, we just need to always be creating. It doesn't have to be for big money or anything. We're just here to create. Create a path home. Create this. Just whatever it is, just create, make something,
This is an inspiring conversation for me. I'll be honest with you. It really is because, I've been creating a couple of different things. Back on the bandwagon.
You are a hard worker.
I'm thinking of all these things,
Yeah.
But this brings me back to the root of why, why would I do this to begin with? Well, it's because that's what I'm doing. But really what I'm doing is I'm enjoying working with other people to create and build something.
Yeah.
And this conversation about the fort and about being limited to, and you don't have to have all the answers.
Well,
You don't have, just work. Just do it and navigate.
Right.
And hustling.
But this is also how you evolve and stay relevant, okay?
100%.
If you just, if you think back and you go, I can't say it's never occurred to me that I thought, oh, gee, if I had just taken all my money at this point in time, not done anything else with
You could be
it,
chilling, bro. Right.
Yeah, but what am I going to be doing? Just like, where are we going out to eat tonight at 4:00? And then hook me up. What drugs do I need now to stay alive? Okay, it's like you're done.
Oh yeah,
you're just done. You won't be evolving. You won't be learning. You won't be helping anybody. You won't be transcending.
I'm with you there. I told my wife
it's
not too long ago. I said, hey, what do we? I said maybe you should just sell everything and just just kind of just live. And just not worry about it.
Right.
And she looked at me and she pointed. She says, "You're not going to do that. You're going to work." And she's like, and I was like, "Okay, what are you talking about? You know, like you need more. You know, like what?" And she's like, she said, "No. You're misreading me." She says, "You love to work.
Yeah, that's right.
You love you." She says, "That's your golf." I mean, like that's
it.
You know,
Exactly.
We
don't golf. None of us do.
I like to create things. You know?
Me too. I like my hobbies. I like working on stuff. I like improving stuff. I like working with people, helping people.
It's another societal type of thing where you, like somewhere along the way in the 1900s, right? Somebody invented this work, retirement, golf course, community. It's fabricated.
Yes. It's just like.
And the reality is if you're a freaking goose and you're 80 years old, right, and you decide to quit working and retire, you're going to die.
Look at Warren Buffett and his partner there who just recently passed away. I think he was, 99 years old or whatever. And Warren's 90-something.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to work, right? But he does because he likes it.
Yeah, man.
That's what he is. That's his purpose.
It's your identity.
Yes.
I mean, and there's nothing 0% wrong with, and we've been taught this, there's 0% wrong with your identity being work.
Yeah.
Like we have acted like that there's some other identity that we should have.
Somehow you failed because that's the way you continue to operate.
Yeah, and you got this pressure and you don't want to bring it up. Don't work too hard. Don't, all these rules.
Stress is the cause of
Right.
And so we think that our identity's in a freaking golf course or a tennis court, at some later stage in life. Bullshit.
Yeah.
If you realize your identity is in work, you know who you are when you're 40, 50, 60, and you work till you die, and you've been happy the whole damn time,
you'll
and
live
you
longer.
contributed to society.
Yeah.
And what you do, you're providing significance.
Right. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. You'll live longer and you'll be happier. You probably won't get Alzheimer's as early.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Because you're keeping your brain going.
Absolutely.
The only thing I would say is don't identify yourself as your business.
Yes.
True.
Being like I should.
Your logo.
Someone says, "Oh, you should put your logo, tattoo it on your arm." I'm like,
I agree.
Why? I don't want to be. I'm not being limited. I said, being limited to a group of people, but I'm not being limited.
Right.
It's
The
like
problem with
I don't
that
ever
is-
want to be. I mean, like it'll fail eventually or something. It's
you
not
can't
going to
make it your baby.
And then you're
exactly.
then your identity is tied up. If your identity is tied up in it and it does falter, then you're going to be very, very depressed.
Right.
100%.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that. 'Cause somebody might misinterpret that, but really,
But your identity in working and creating, and doing that. That's what we were put on this earth for.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that wasn't not for a time period, not for 30 years and stop. It's just like to do it,
till you die.
Till you die. And when you're 2.5 years old, coloring, you're
working.
Yeah. You're creating a picture,
I want to bring up one last topic, though, because this is a fascinating discussion. It's always great being with you, Ben.
Oh, I enjoy being with y'all.
How about me?
But, you too. But I do want to
He's
say,
always like one up, and he's like, "I'm the host of the show. You're just. I can do this without you. Like I can't wait until I'll outwork you."
is that how you really feel?
There's always a little truth to every lie. My mom told me
Hell no, man. I don't feel that way. I'm just messing with you,
I was just
bro.
going to say, but the three
My
of us,
identity is not wrapped up in big talk about stuff.
I think all three of us, though, would admit one thing, and that is, sure, we all had these businesses that were successful, that were sort of our foundation, right?
Yeah.
Our foundational business. Now we all do other things too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to acknowledge the fact that we may not be as successful in all the ventures that follow.
Yeah.
Okay. But, if we just wanted to make the most amount of money, any of us, we would just stay what we're doing and just focus only on that. Just keep going on that because we're good at that, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
That's right.
There are other things we want to do.
Right.
There's other ways that we can learn. There are other people we can help. There are other things beyond just trying to be as successful as we can be in this one business.
Yeah. No, absolutely right.
Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So I like that.
When you say that, it makes me think about, well, why do we not choose that? Because I think there's thrill in building a new fort.
Oh, sure. There is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like the people that worked at Being Limited on the early years, those were the fun years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, And then
As it
now it's more
matures.
mature. And it's like, it's not as fun, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that a lot of the people that work there now didn't work there the early years, because they look at it differently. Because just like that marriage I talked about earlier, you know, the guy said he's married 28 times. Your business changes constantly. And as it matures, it's different, you know, than it was at the early years.
Yeah, we don't all like it
We're not
necessarily.
all sleeping on the couch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back then.
What again?
And you shouldn't be upset with that evolution.
Yeah,
that,
that's fine.
change. Like that's growth. That's natural. What happens? Like, I mean, people.
Yeah, it's
people will
fine.
say stuff like, I mean, when, you know, like if it's different at the company that I sold, like, how does that make me feel? I'm like, I mean,
Doesn't make me feel anyway.
Right,
that's what's
exactly.
supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my.
Right, exactly. It's supposed to change. It's always changed.
Yeah.
It's never not stayed the same. If it stays the same, it dies.
That's
Yes,
right.
exactly.
And it gives different benefits at different stages.
Right.
You know, now the people that were with me in the early days are now making a lot more money. Their careers going this way.
Sure.
They're you know, I mean, you got to look at the positives of the change, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you focus on the negatives, then
Oh yeah,
you know,
for sure.
you'll be a
Well, none of us would be entrepreneurs and business owners if we focused on the negatives.
no.
I mean, it would you just wouldn't do the things that you do.
Exactly.
You always believe that whatever the odds are, you can beat them.
Yeah.
And that you're going to overcome any obstacle that hits your way. You may have setbacks, you may have problems, but the longer we do this stuff, the older we get, the more we know we shall overcome.
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good.
And keep networking like this, because whenever my stuff fails, then I can lean on you two to.
To bail you out.
bail
Is that-
me out.
no, I was going to lean on you to bail me out.
No, bro. Wait a minute.
I do see the advantages now of just walking along this road together. You know,
Sure.
Yeah.
Even this podcast. I mean, and the many people that y'all are talking about, you know, small business. It's helping people walk along together in this journey, which that's huge. That really is huge, to kind of be able to just talk about this stuff open,
Sure.
you know, and not try to.
You're not alone.
You know, you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Well, that's when Mark came up with this idea, and he started this podcast. You know, and
We started
asked me
this
to be part of it. But you're right. The conversation is so in depth and so versatile. Like, you have to have something that you're dedicating time with.
Right.
Hell, we're on like episode 70 or something.
No, we're on 80 something now.
80 something now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Can you believe that?
man. 80. I mean, that's 80
Yeah.
at least hours of content.
I know.
You know.
I know.
And
We
so-
never run out of stuff to talk about.
I know. Every
Especially if
time.
we get Ben in here.
I'm sitting there thinking y'all couldn't find anybody else. I guess we'll call Ben. He'll say yes.
Well, there's some of that too.
We do need to call Brian because he's really been
you really
successful.
should. Yeah, Brian has been. Now Brian is your.
Brian is out there.
Right, he's out there. Now he's the one you should
he
call.
is a great guy though. But we do need to get Brian in here too.
Absolutely.
But anyway, well, Ben, we thank you for coming today.
Oh, this has been fun.
Yeah.
It's made my morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's enjoyable.
It is. And we are still continuing to look for sponsors of this show. If anybody has an interest, please reach out to us at www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com.
Yep.
We'd love to take your money and promote your wares, as long as there's something we believe in.
Somebody's got to pay for this studio. This
That's
is
right.
state of the art.
I thank God I got a rich uncle here.
I mean, right now, this is really nice.
Appreciate it.
This is it is great, and Eric has been so generous to donate this studio to us, and all his talent, people he's got out here that make this whole thing work.
I'm telling you,
there's a big team at
impressive.
Podcast Videos.
Yeah,
It really
they're doing
is.
great. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working hard together. It's really cool.
So in any case, we will see you all next week, and until then, this has been another episode of
Big Talk About Small
Business.
Love it.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk About Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.